Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. On the bench we have a couple of Carbine C73 series Puck Lock. Locksmith grade padlock LW5 C4 6-pin keyway, accepts restricted keying. Now these are, how would you say, they're a chunky padlock. Super good when you're using them in a high attack area. They've started using them on some commercial vehicles. Anywhere that you would put this anywhere that you would want the highest kind of level of security, where you wouldn't want a standard padlock to be cut and things like that. The idea behind them is they're so big and chunky and they hide the shackle, the part that locks onto the bracket. It's actually hidden, and it's hidden behind a massive material. That's what makes them really good. So if you've got a good surface and you can weld on a suitable mounting for this type of padlock, they work really well. They also work well as a solid mass where one door can't get past the other. Anyway, let's just have a look at the padlock here. So part number C73FE steel round body. Shackle is 10/25 and change key KD, blah blah blah. So these are available on our website. This is how they come. Ooh, that's heavy. That's got to be close to a kilo. That's solid, absolutely solid. All right, let's have a look. All right, so you can see what locks the lock right here. So what you would do is you would put both eyelets in there and then lock it. So let's go through and unlock it. Turn the key, and what's happening? There we go. The whole cylinder comes out to unlock it, and then you would have your hasp and staple or what you're locking, and you would push back in and turn it back around and remove your key. Okay, I'll give you some sizes and measurements on this, and looks like there's a little Allen key here, and that would be to remove the cylinder. I haven't actually had to key up any of these yet, so it'll be interesting. Alright, let's just go through and give you some sizes just for reference. Let's go on millimeters. So 73 series, I'm guessing 73 mil across. Perfect. There's a step here. If you can see from here to here, I will measure this just for your reference. 32 mil, and on this side 38.5 mil. This is a 6-pin Lockwood style key known as LW5, C4 or C4B to be precise. There's other variations of it as well, like other different names from different manufacturers, but it's pretty common. And they're the two keys that come with it. Okay, and I guess, well, let's do the technical part of it, and let's pull it apart. There's no instructions there, so we need an Allen key. And I happen to have a whole heap here. Not ready, not planned. Here we go. Nope, too small. Come on, where are you? That looks like one that will do it. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to undo this. Right here, so there's my little grub screw. Oh, okay. So it's a fairly simple mechanism. Do we have a spring in there? No. It's just a hollow chamber there. Hey, look, it works. Let's take that top cap off. So that's a top cap, very similar to the ABUS 8345 PD conversion in a padlock. So if you've got an ABUS 8345 and you want to convert it into using a PD cylinder, they make it like a little adapter, which is very similar to that. You whack that on the top, whack that on the back, and away you go. All right, so how they've done this, so you can see on the back here, this is I guess you could say a retainer or a cam. This whole piece right here is on the back of the cylinder, and it's accessible by using your screwdriver here on this angle like so. I mean, that works. We've also got a little cutout right about here which only allows you to turn a quarter of a turn. So, sorry, that's in its position there. You're lined up with the top pins, and as you turn it, here's your quarter of a turn, and that's it, maximum turn. And so there's no holes on the bottom for dropping pins out like the ABUS have, which also means there's no construction key setup no shear off type pins or dropping of balls through there. Construction keying, I guess, could be done in the actual plug if need be. So that's a really simple but yet practical design, and well, it works. Milled out section there, allowing it to slide. No lubrication on it, but I guess it doesn't need it. And one of the things here which is really cool is that you could rekey this in under a couple of minutes. You know, The design of it means that you're not dropping things, there's not ball bearings, there's not springs getting around, things like that. Let's also note on the end here as well that this square section, sorry, it's a circle with 2 flat sides. When this goes through into its keeper, it rotates, and as you can see there's 2 hardened roll pins inserted right there and there. So this will go in like so, rotate between it, meaning it'll be extremely hard to remove. So that's a pretty cool design. Go through, rotate, and like that. One of the things I'm still curious about is why this is milled out. Why is there a mill on this side? Oh, for the screws. That's what it is, for the screws. So yeah, that's fair enough. And the actual material itself, it's stronger than brass. Looks like some sort of steel. The cylinder, okay, so that to me looks like it's a unique housing because it's got this step on the back. You could possibly make one out of something else, but it looks like it's a unique housing. The other thing to mention here too is it's compatible with restricted key systems, and just by looking at it, I'm saying that's a 570 plug. So 570 plug, use the same housing, and away you go. The one Allen key grub screw, pretty cool, with a little bit of Loctite on it. So simple design, but efficient. Just popping that back in there. Alright, so there are some brackets you can buy on our website too, which will go into that hole. With your hole, it's not extremely big, so you do have to be fairly precise. You need both eyelets to be in there and that hole to be in the right position. And you've got that lip as well to work off, so hopefully there'll be some custom hasp and staple brackets that this will just slide straight on, and it will make it nice and easy for us to install. But yeah, looking over it, it's a machine and finish. Now these are, I believe, made in Australia, but I cannot see any reference to it. It's made by Dave Corp. I know they do make a lot of their stuff. No, it's designed in Australia and made in Taiwan. Because I've seen their factory and they do have all the tools to make it, and they do make a lot of these padlocks in-house. But designed in Australia and made in Taiwan, I guess, you know, if it's more cost effective, why not? But chunky as. I mean, that's got to be close to a kilo. Size-wise, if I can give you a few more of them, that might help you identify if this is the right product for you. Alright, so we've got 10.4 mil there. Let's go to the internals here. I've got 43 mil, measuring from the highest point here to the highest point here. I'm going to try and gauge the lowest point here, because a lot of people will try and just use that, giving yourself some clearance for when you're putting it on the door and off the door. Let's zero down, we've messed up there. Alright, so I'd be saying about 32 mil. 32 mil, if you look at that, gives you plenty of extra room there. Width, what do we got here? 14, just under 15 mil. Let's say 15 mil, because we're like a hair off 15 mil, even less than a hair. Depth-wise, that could be an important one. Okay. 26 mil from the top of this surface down to the cover right there. So yeah, fairly impressive. Good for the price, not overpriced, and you know, this is the type of padlock, well, it's not really padlock, puck lock. Well, they've called it a padlock, but they call it a puck lock in the States. But this is the type of, I'll call it a padlock, that you would use when you want to protect what you're clipping onto. So for example, if you've got 2 eyelets you're clipping onto and you're putting this over the top, as you can see, you can't get to the actual shackle to cut it. As where if you compare this to a normal padlock, if I can show you one, here's one. Oh, and rightfully so, it's been cut. So if you've got this clipped on something with, let's say 2 eyelets, you know, you put it on, you clip it down, you're still vulnerable to a grinder. As where this one here, yes, you can be hit with a grinder, but you're going to be there for a lot longer. You're going to be there for a lot longer to get to that locking pin than what you would if you had an exposed shackle. So, which one I would say would be stronger? Well, against a grinder attack, this one. Against, grinder attack. Drill attack, they're both susceptible. Picking attack, this one would be more susceptible than this alloy, of course. And if you were to put an alloy system into this, well, that would be even more stronger. But it is compatible with a lot of inline, 6-pin inline restricted key systems, which gives you the ability to put in a nice squiggly key so that picking becomes next to impossible. Not impossible, but a lot more difficult. And that might be the perfect combination. Low cost, really difficult, a lot of meat, hard to cut through, and on a reasonable budget. Padlock like this can set you back $150 to $250, let's say, for example, and something like this on a restricted key system should cost you, a fair bit less, but you're getting more security. And you can also put that restricted key system in there, and away you go. So that is the Carbine C73FE. As far as waterproof rating and things like that, I don't know. I'll see if I can leave it on our website. By the look of it, it's just pretty rock solid. Looking at it, if you were to mount this keyway facing downwards, I don't think you'd have any trouble with water penetration or corrosion, because all of this is encased in such a solid material. If you had it exposed up and this filled up with water, yeah, possibly. But you've got to remember too, the actual mechanism in this is such a simple design that even if you were to get some sort of corrosion, it's still going to continue on working. The amount of padlocks that I've seen, they've got rust all the way around these sides here, and it still keeps working without a problem. So, very interesting design. Simple but effective. Good for locksmiths to change combination, and yet super strong, and also compatible with restricted keys, which is what a lot of us locksmiths like to upgrade the customers to, for that extra keying security to make the locks harder to pick and more key control. Alright, that's the padlock, or I like to call puck lock because it resembles a hockey puck, and that's what they call it in the States, and that's what I've commonly known it as. Leave your comments down below what you think of this lock, and thanks for watching.